Welcome viewers. I've watched a couple of videos on the flotilla and accusations that people were sexually molested by the IDF and all sorts of other atrocities, which I found a little bit more difficult to believe than to believe. I'm more on the side of disbelief. And what it's caused me to do is do a burden of proof and the propaganda defense outline, just to try and weigh things up a bit, because it's hard when you're dealing with the some of the fanaticism that is on the trail or on the tail of the Palestinian cause. So this is called the burden of proof and the propaganda defense, a democratic examination of the Gaza Flotilla allegations. The central democratic question arising from the Gaza Flotilla controversy is not merely whether the allegations are true. The central question is whether a government or state actor can legitimately dismiss serious allegations as propaganda before those allegations have been independently investigated and disproven. This burden matters because the propaganda accusation itself is itself a factual claim. To state that allegations are fabricated, invented, or politically manufactured is not a neutral denial. If it is an affirmative assertion, it is an affirmative assertion, and affirmative assertions carry evidentiary obligations of their own. The democratic standard. In democratic societies, those alleging rape, torture, sexual assault, or abuse carry a burden to provide evidence supporting their claims. However, the same principle applies to those asserting fabrication. To say these are allegations or these allegations are false is one claim. To say these allegations are propaganda is a stronger claim. And the second statement does not merely deny wrongdoing. It alleges deliberate deception by the complainants. That accusation itself requires supporting evidence. The logical problem. If activists allege abuse, they should be asked what evidence exists, who witnessed it, what corroboration exists, and what records support the claim. But if governments allege propaganda, the same questions must follow. What evidence establishes fabrication? What evidence proves coordination? What evidence demonstrates intentional deception? What evidence disproves the allegations? Democracy requires symmetrical standards. The asymmetry concern. A danger emerges when one side is required to prove everything while the other side's permitted to dismiss allegations through assertion alone. If complainants must provide evidence, institutions must also provide evidence when accusing those complainants of dishonesty. Otherwise, the word propaganda becomes a political shield rather than an evidentiary conclusion. The presumption problem. Democracy should not operate under believe all allegations automatically, nor should it operate under believe all official denials automatically. Both positions abandon investigation. The proper democratic position is investigate first, conclude second, label later. The burden on the propaganda claim. If allegations remain under investigation, and if independent findings have not yet established fabrication, then describing them as propaganda may exceed what the evidence currently supports. As a responsible democratic standard would be, allegations remain allegations until proven. Innocence remains intact until evidence establishes wrongdoing. Propaganda claims remain unproven until evidence establishes fabrication. This protects both complainants and the accused. In conclusion, the burden of proof does not disappear when governments speak. It does not disappear when activists speak. It does not disappear when media organisations speak. If flotilla participants allege rape, torture, and abuse, evidence should be demanded. If governments allege fabrication, propaganda, and deliberate deception, evidence should also be demanded. And the democratic principle is simple. No side receives exemption from proof. No side receives automatic credibility. No side receives automatic immunity from scrutiny. And the burden belongs equally to the allegation and to the accusation of propaganda. In a democracy, the claim of abuse requires evidence. The claim of propaganda requires evidence. Neither allegation nor denial should be permitted to escape the burden of proof.